Hey Cowboys Nation, let's go for another round of news from America's team. Watch until the end so you don't miss any news and sign up to stay tuned for everything that comes out about the Cowboys.
Cowboys already made decision on $22 million move for dart throw QB. If the Cowboys trade for Trey Lance was, as SI.com's Mike Fisher says, a dart throw, then it appears that the dart is still in the air. For now, that is as good as it's going to get for Lance and the Cowboys. Dallas gave away a fourth-round pick to the 49ers for Lance, viewing him as a backup plan for Dak Prescott. But with Prescott coming off a near MVP campaign and set to cash in with a major new contract, it looks like there is little need for Lance in Dallas. And, to no one's surprise, Fisher reports that the Cowboys have made the decision not to pick up Lance's fifth-year option. That would have cost them $22 million for the 2025 season, and that was never going to happen unless there was a chance that Lance would replace Prescott. Not happening. A more likely scenario, per Fisher, Prescott doesn't get outplayed by Lance. But the latter player shows such promise this summer that Dallas is able to trade him, or Cooper Rush, in exchange for value in excess of a fourth-round pick. That would be winning the trade. Trey Lance needs to play. Sure. That would be winning the trade, but it's just hard to see how Lance somehow gains value by not playing. Lance did not take a snap for the Cowboys all season, and he remained firmly ensconced as the number 3 on the depth chart, behind starter Prescott and backup Cooper Rush, who made 7 appearances mopping up for Prescott this year. Lance is still young. He turns 24 years old in May, but he is entering his 4th NFL season and needs to get on the field. He has thrown just 56 NFL passes in 8 career appearances. It's a little cumbersome at this point even to keep Lance around on the roster at $5.3 million. There's not much need for 3 quarterbacks. Rush can stay on board as the backup, with an option for 1 year and $2.25 million. That's a much cheaper way to go than cutting Rush loose and bumping Lance up to number 2, and it's also the choice that encourages more stability. Rush has been with the Cowboys for 10 of his 12 NFL seasons. But keeping Rush means jettisoning Lance. And that means paying him $5.3 million and losing the 2024 fourth-rounder for a player who did absolutely nothing for the franchise all season. Cowboys trade to recoup cost of deal getting unlikely, so the dart remains airborne, but the opportunity to somehow win this trade appears to be getting less and less possible. The Cowboys could seek to trade Lance again, but who would give up a third-round pick for a player who has not been on an NFL field for nearly 2 years when the 2024 season opens? It would be hard enough to get a fourth-rounder for Lance, though teams seeking low-risk, high-reward returns on the number 3 pick in the 2021 draft could conceivably make that gamble. Denver or the Raiders, for example, are teams that could seek to take a swing at a relatively young veteran like Lance. Either way, the clock is ticking on the Cowboys and Lance. It's a slim chance he wants to remain a backup beyond 2024, and if Dallas does not move him now, their chance to recoup the cost of the trade will collapse quickly. The Dallas Cowboys could have their choice of the top free agent running backs if the team opts to move on from Tony Pollard this offseason. ESPN's Adam Schefter reported that no team is expected to use the franchise tag on a running back. This creates a plethora of veteran options at the position for the Cowboys. Tennessee Titans star Derrick Henry is one of the headliners of this deep free agent class. After Schefter's update, Bleacher Report's Mitch Milani offered his predictions for the top playmakers. Dallas lands King Henry in the analysts' latest predictions for the free agent running backs. Speaking of Derrick Henry, I've got him going to the Cowboys, Milani detailed in a February 26, 2024 live stream. If you're thinking of contrasting what they experienced last year in the inefficiency of the running game led by Tony Pollard, and contrasting that to, what do we need different at the position to give us an edge? Then Derrick Henry would make a lot of sense, just in thinking that way. And I think a lot of teams think that way. How can we change the flavor of our rushing attack? How can we make it more potent? Obviously, Derrick Henry is a better player than Tony Pollard, but he also gives a legitimate threat to the running game. It didn't feel like they had that last year. Potential Dallas Cowboys target Derrick Henry has topped 1,000 rushing yards in 5 of the last 6 seasons. If Dallas does get into the Henry sweepstakes, the good news is the team may not have to break the bank. Henry just completed a 4-year, $50 million contract with the Titans. Spotrac projects Henry's market value to be a 1-year, $10.3 million deal. Pollard played on the $10 million franchise tag for Dallas last season. Henry is arguably the most accomplished running back on the market. The playmaker has topped 1,000 rushing yards in 5 of the last 6 seasons. Henry posted 280 carries for 1,167 yards and 12 touchdowns while starting all 17 games in 2023. The 4-time Pro Bowler added 28 receptions for 214 yards. Cowboys rumors. Dallas could get a bargain on a veteran running back in free agency. Henry will not be the only available running back option for the Cowboys. Saquon Barkley, Josh Jacobs, Austin Eckler and DeAndre Swift are among the top running backs that will hit free agency on March 11th. This could end up helping Dallas land a veteran running back on a bit of a discount given the depth of options. All of this sets up an offseason that now stands in direct contrast to 2023, when 3 running backs, Jacobs, Barkley and Pollard, each received the restrictive franchise tags, Schefter noted in a February 26 story titled, Sources. Franchise tags unlikely for Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley. This offseason, it appears no running backs will be tagged, making this one of the finest and deepest running back classes in the history of free agency, if not the best and most accomplished of all time. While the glut of running backs will be good for teams, it might not be great for all the backs. Free agency is about supply and demand, and the supply at the position this offseason is unprecedented and could contribute to keeping down the prices in free agency, though the top stars still could land hefty paydays. Cowboys' 26-year-old Pro Bowler could sign with Commanders. Young Dallas Cowboys Pro Bowler may consider signing with a division rival in free agency. As Bleacher Report's Matt Holder writes in his 8 NFL free agents who could strengthen a division rival this offseason column, center Tyler Biadasz could be an ideal fit for the Washington Commanders. Holder argues that the Commanders will likely use their number 2 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft on a future franchise quarterback and that the team needs a viable center to pair with him moving forward. The Commanders are widely expected to spend the number 2 overall pick on a quarterback and can't afford to put the future of the franchise behind a center that struggles in pass protection, writes Holder. That's where Tyler Biadasz can come in and help the rookie sign caller. Why Tyler Biadasz should have strong free agent market. The 26-year-old Biadasz is considered one of the top centers in the NFL, having been named to a Pro Bowl following the conclusion of the 2022 season. According to Pro Football Focus, Biadasz posted a solid 68.6 offensive grade and 68.1 run blocking grade during the 2023 season. His offensive grade ranked 14th among 36 qualifying centers and was the 3rd highest among Cowboys offensive linemen last season behind Tyron and Tyler Smith. PFF projects Biadasz to sign a 3-year, $21 million deal, which is a modest $7 million per year deal.